and welcome along to the West Wales Karting Virtual Racing Triple Crown. It is the third of the Triple Crown series today at the Nordschleife circuit. Yes, the Green Hill, the 73-turn circuit. I can't remember how long it is, but it's very long. And it's going to be a hell of a race here today. It's 45 minutes as ever, and as we look at the point standings, it's Alex CDL who leads the way after 2 wins in the previous rounds at Spa-Francorchamps and Le Mans, and he's got 50 points from 50, followed by the sole Ferrari of Scuderia Sam on 33 points just ahead of Stewart, and Chris Doherty and D-Man in the 2 Porsches following in behind, and that's going to be a hell of a battle for second place. But Alex would have to have a big mistake today to lose the championship, and they're on the grid now and we're waiting for the lights, and it's go here, and it's a fantastic flying start by the Ferrari there, trying to go around the outside of Alex. And the grid, of course, was based on the last race's results, because there's no qualifying here at Nordschleife, because it would take too long. And there's Scuderia Sam there, look, he's bouncing around in the Ferrari, trying to keep hold of Alex, who's now got a flying start into the lead, and that's Chris now all over the back. There's a bit of a Porsche train going on behind second place, and that's just fantastic news for Alex. He just needs to get on up the road now, and he's got this race absolutely under control. Oh, but look, he's made a mistake at the Hatson back. And he's given up the lead. Look, Scuderia Sam flashes through on the outside, and now there's side by side with the other Porsche of Chris Doherty, and now they're going up the hill here towards Flugplack, and it's a Porsche melee here going on behind that red Ferrari, an absolute truly train, and they go over the rise now, and there's contact, and Chris slams into the wall, and D-Man swerves to avoid him, and he's off as well, and Alex CDL goes round the outside, and that's Big Bad Wolf. Alex CDL up into the lead ahead of Scuderia Sam, and Big Bad Wolf's off, and D-Man's involved too, and that's Stuart Davis now in 5th as we look at a replay here, Stuart.
Absolutely mental, of course. Scuderia Sam, he knew he had to get through going through the first sector there, and yeah, the blue plats there just after the crest and the jump. It's really tough to go sort of close, one single file through there without having an incident. But yeah, all the Porsches had to do was keep it clean on the first lap, because they got such a big lap time advantage over these guys. And the Scuderia Sam now trying to get through Alex going up into Arenberg, but of course that Porsche there would be absolutely flat out through the left-hand kink there.
Yeah, you just see the time it makes up. And look down the inside, there's Chris Doherty. That was a crucial move for Chris to keep hold of Alex to get past that Ferrari, even though the Porsche's got a massive advantage, like you say. It can't afford to be held up at all by the Ferraris and the Fords, can it? Because it is a hard circuit to overtake on, even if you have got a 30-second lap advantage.
Oh, definitely, and even every bump, every crest is looking to throw, especially the Ford and the Ferrari, out over into the grass and the barriers. So they will certainly be holding up the Porsches, as D-Man's finding out there, being stuck behind Stuart Davis. He's going to just watch the other two drive away now through this section. But not too bad a start, considering you got about 15 corners in the first sector alone. Most of the drivers got through there relatively unscathed. Only about 10 seconds to separate the entire field at the moment, so not a bad start.
Yeah, and actually, throughout the whole Triple Crown Championship, it's worth saying, it's actually been very clean, hasn't it, for these cars, which are incredibly difficult to drive. It's not been too bad at all. We haven't had many incidents, actually, to speak of. Obviously, there's a big crash at the start. Oh, D-Man down the inside of the GT40 there of Stuart Davis, and that was a fantastic move by D-Man, and now he's going to head on up the road towards Scuderia Sam, and he needs to clear him quickly if he wants to keep touch at all with the 2 leaders. But we had a big crash at the start of Spa-Francorchamps, of course, but apart from that, it's been quite tidy, actually.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. Le Mans, 2 finishes separated by only about a second. Spa was quite similar as well, with Stuart Davis doing a bit of a comeback against Alex there, but Alex is gunning, championship's pretty safe for him today. He just wants the Triple Crown, he wants to win all 3 races and get the bragging rights for that one, whereas Chris behind, he's been very quick, and he'll be looking to take that away from Alex, I think. Is Scuderia Sam there's protecting his position from D-Man 221, and they'll be coming down into the Begwet corner now, which is it's a very tricky downhill left hand. It's just, D-Man's going for a move in there, and Scuderia Sam, he's got nothing to defend that. Bit of contact, Sam goes off, and am I leaving vulnerable to Stuart Davis behind now in that powerful Ford as they go up towards Klostertal, Yeah, side by side going up straight. The grunt of that Ford's going to keep him in touch. And is he going around the outside, I think? Oh, that's close.
Yeah, really close racing on an extremely fast part of the circuit, and the Ford here going slightly uphill is going to have that power advantage, about 50 horsepower more than the Ferrari. And oh look, it's on the grass even. And the Ferrari does struggle a little bit through this bit, so this is Stuart Davis's chance in that West Wales Karting liveried GT40 to get past, and that's the corner that the Ferrari struggles with the most, I think. and Stuart Davis is going to be waiting to pounce any opportunity he can. Oh, and side by side, look! Side by side, Stuart.
Oh, that is ridiculous. They're doing about 150 mile an hour. They're bouncing over the curbs and the bumps. How they didn't crash into each other, I don't know, but...
and both these drivers are using the pad as well, so they haven't got that much more, finesse. They're literally just bouncing around trying to avoid each other at 180 mile an hour.
Yeah, not bad going, and yeah, Stuart's a little bit far behind. Have a look into the carousel there as they come up the hill now into Sector 3.
I knew that corner name.
Yeah. But yeah, 10 seconds off the lead now already, these two, but again, you're looking, there's a good 20 seconds advantage for the Porsche around this circuit, so this is kind of a little exclusive battle for the third, well, it'll be second place in the championship depending on where Chris Doherty finishes, but if they can pick off a Porsche or two during this race, I think they'll be quite happy with that one.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. With Big Bad Wolf's recovering still in the other Porsche. They're ahead of him at the moment, but he's going to be coming at them very quickly. He's currently about 2 seconds behind this pair, but he's going to be coming extremely quick towards Stuart Davis and Scuderia Sam, and we could have a three-way battle before long. D-Man is losing touch a little bit with Chris and Alex up ahead as we look now at Unfixed Throne. We haven't seen him so far this race, and they're still on lap 1, of course. It's such a long lap here. Unfixed Throne is in 8th and last place at the moment, with Welsh Taff in 7th, so he's trying to catch him. And Unfixed Throne, he just looks so smooth even, doesn't he? Even on this circuit, with all the bumps and the high speed and the curbs, and in a car which reacts to those bumps and curbs, he's just so smooth still. I know we've said it before, but it's worth saying again.
Yeah, it might pay dividends later in the race. Welsh Taff, obviously, he's come from the PS4 races, and he never played ProjectCars2 before sort of joining on to the PS4 races, and he's only driven the Clios and the touring cars, so he chucked himself at the deep end, taking part in this vintage Triple Crown Championship, so he's very much learning as he goes. And interestingly enough, he'd only done a lap or two around this circuit before the race, so he's doing quite well, to be fair to Welsh Taff. So his race today is with Unfixed Throne, that's for championship position as well. Unfortunately, Liam, who is Welsh Taff's son, he had a bit of a nightmare at Le Mans, retired from that race, so he's not taking part today, unfortunately. So he's got the opportunity, Welsh Taff, to jump Liam in the championship as well. As here's the Ford and the Ferrari now, they're about to come out onto the Dottinger Höhe, the 2 kilometres straight, leading into the Tiergarten corners at the end of the lap then.
Yeah, and with Big Bad Wolf behind, he'll be hoping he's somewhere near the Tiergartens when he comes to the end, because he loves a cup of tea. Yeah.
And here we go. So will that Ford be able to get on the back of that Ferrari come the end of the straight? As I said, 2 kilometres, he's got plenty of time as we ride on board now.
Yeah, slipstream, slightly uphill at the end here as well, look, so he's going to be closing in. It's going to be touch and go though.
Yeah, Ferrari's getting bigger and bigger. Look at the bumps.
Yeah, just reeling them in, look, and there's no way through there, is there? Surely not. Oh, he's going to have a look down the inside. Oh, on the curve, on the grass. That could have been an absolutely huge crash there. And Scuderia Sam just stays ahead, and then Stuart Davis off slightly. That's going to make him vulnerable to Big Bad Wolf if he's anywhere close. But look at this, Stuart. This is so close.
Yeah, that's 180 plus miles an hour coming down there. And again, just look at the bumps from that Ferrari. These cars, they really do react to every single. Oh, that was close.
Yeah, that could have been absolutely. I mean, that could have been a huge crash there. Let's be honest.
Oh, that would have been a big one. There's Big Bad Wolf coming through the Tiergarten, his favourite part of the circuit, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't stopped actually for a brew or two.
Yeah, maybe slung his arm out for his pit crew to sling him a brew as he drives past. But here we are on to lap 2 now. First lap of the race, 7:03 from Alex CDL. So with all that melee and carnage on the first lap, and obviously from a standing start, he's still 10 seconds quicker than any times we've seen from the Ford or Ferrari in practice.
That's mental.
Just to give you an idea of the advantage of those Porsches.
Yeah, and we are expecting, of course, them to be easily sub 7 minutes for the leading Porsches here today per lap. And we're expecting around, like you say, Stuart, in practice, the Ford and Ferrari, they were about, 7:12, 7:13 max times. So we'll see how they get on though today. You know, it's a race scenario. I'm sure they can find a little bit more time if they need it, and when they're pushing each other as hard as they are as well. And Stuart Davis now, he's going to have his wing mirrors full of Big Bad Wolf soon.
Yeah, he's a tough competitor, is the Wolf, as he comes up over the hill into the Flugplatz.
The Porsche still stays quite stable there.
Yeah, I mean, that corner isn't proper one of the events of the lap in the Ford or the Ferrari, but that Porsche is just absolutely planted. Look at that. And again, as they come up over the crest again now, this will be another area where the Ford certainly does get a little bit of airtime, but That Porsche is sticking to the ground like glue.
Yeah, in that corner there, that left-hander that we just went through, it is incredible, like, in the Porsche. It's just on rails through there. And in the Ferrari and the Ford, it is just, you have to lift off, you have to wrestle it in, get back on. You got kind of four-wheel drifting around it on the limit of adhesion. And the Porsche is just like, oh, was there a corner there? I didn't even notice.
It does look very serene, very calm coming through here. It's
That's a sneaky corner.
as you said in the build-up, it's the green hell. Sir Jackie Stewart used to call this circuit for good reason, I'd say.
Yeah.
But it's that Porsche's handling like a dream, to be fair.
Although, who's having the most fun? Let's be honest. The Ford or Ferrari, as Welsh Taff makes a mistake there.
Well, Welsh Taff's having a lot of fun,
Yes,
isn't
I've never seen a GT40 do rallycross before, but if they did do rallycross, that's what it would look like.
he? Yeah, big smile on his face there, look at that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, because he doesn't know the circuit. It's about his fourth lap he's doing now in this car around this track, and it's not bad going, really, is it?
Really good, actually. Really impressed, because, I mean, if there was any circuit that you'd want to jump in last minute to with drivers that have been practicing and in a car, it's probably this combination here, as you saw the discs, the brake discs glowing red hot as you came into that corner.
Yeah, that's something the Ford might struggle with later in the race. Especially Welsh Taff and Stuart Davis, who maybe aren't quite as smooth as Unfixed Throne, is coming about lap 5 or 6. Tyre wear on the fronts will start to play a little bit of a part in their race performance. So if they want to make any headway, they are going to have to do it early on in the race. And maybe thinking of headway is Big Bad Wolf. Now he's all the way on the back of Stuart Davis, who's made a mistake coming up the hill.
Oh, and that's it. Game over as soon as the Porsche gets past you. Yeah, Stuart Davis just got on the curb, didn't he? As soon as he got on the curb, he had to get out the power, and then that compromised him all the way down the straight, and Big Bad Wolf didn't need a second invitation to a tea party there, he went straight through.
Yeah, that's it, and the Porsche now, he's got to get a good run out of Bergwick now onto the straight. Well, I say straight, it's a sort of left-hand winding straight with lots of bumps that try to kill you.
Yeah, curvy straight.
Oh, there we go, a bit of sideways action there.
Stuart Davis is hanging on to that.
No, he's got a good drive out of there, the Wolf. I think he's going to be safe from the Ford behind. Don't think he's quite going to have enough time to catch him before they have to lift off here as they come through what you call Bravery Corner here in the Ferrari. Looks like a bit of a handful through there, doesn't it?
Yeah, but look at it, it's such a beautiful machine. That Ferrari badge.
Yeah, I stand by my Le Mans statement. It looks like a frog.
No, that's the Fiat Multipla.
No, Fiat Multipla. That's a surprised frog.
Or the Ferrari? Nah, it's
No, the Multipla. This
right.
one looks slightly annoyed. This
an
frog.
annoyed frog.
Yeah, slightly, maybe more shocked, like you snuck up on it a little bit.
He just missed the carousel there, but thankfully for him, Big Bad Wolf also missed the carousel. Because if you go wide through there, you do lose actually a second or two actually even going through if you don't hook up the carousel properly. So he was lucky that Big Bad Wolf wasn't there to take advantage of that then. But let's be honest though, you're a Ford fan because you're a GT40, and then I love Ferraris, so we can just gang up on the Porsche and say that's certainly the most ugly car.
Yeah, it's looking. He's doing quite well holding back the Wolf now, isn't he? To be fair.
Yeah, he's trying, but look, there we are.
Oh, there we go. Through he goes. We knew it was coming.
Yeah, there was just no defence against that.
He did okay though. It's a difficult part of the circuit to master in these cars, and again, every curb, every bump, it just wants to absolutely do you in. To be honest, a bit wide from Wolf there. But
In fairness, though, Scuderia Sam's probably thinking, look, my battle today isn't with the Porsches. They've got such a pace advantage. He needs to focus on Stuart Davis there behind him, and likewise with Stuart as well. He needs to focus on Scuderia Sam, because these two are in a great battle for second in the championship, or it could be third if Chris Doherty manages to take the win today. So yeah, they need to focus on each other, don't they? Really, because there's only 3 points separating them in the championship.
yes, definitely, and annoyingly for Stuart Davis, if he is going to beat Sam, he needs one of them to pick off a Porsche, and well, he needs to finish obviously ahead of Sam. Oh, getting very sideways there. He needs to finish ahead of Sam with someone between them, as they're that far back through the field. There is only a couple of points between their current standings at the moment, so yeah, it's looking a bit ropey in terms of championship for Stuart Davis, but he'll keep going. He never say die. He'll keep pushing. As you see, they're running a little bit wide, pushing too hard.
Yeah, he's trying hard to catch that red Ferrari, isn't he? He doesn't want to see that Ferrari disappear up the circuit, because he knows that Scuderia Sam, even on a track like this, he doesn't make too many errors, although I think it's fair to say he did make a slight error, which gave up the win in Le Mans in the end when Alex Riel passed him a few corners from the end. But I think that Porsche is going to come past at some point anyway. If it wasn't for the crashes at the start, they would have been well up the track.
Yeah, that's it. And here's the Porsche now. It's ugly, buzzy little thing. But nimble in the corners. But yeah, this is obviously isn't its strongest part of the circuit, the Dottinger Höhe, which incidentally was used as... They took the Dottinger Höhe into consideration when redesigning the Mulsanne Straight, when they sort of looked at regulations for what was deemed usable for the FIA in endurance racing. So they actually deemed it that any circuit with a straight of over 2 kilometres wasn't able to be used in sports car racing. So they obviously shortened the Mulsanne Straight at Le Mans and were able to actually keep the Dottinger Höhe as it is.
Very interesting, didn't know that.
Useful bit of trivia there if you like your circuit history.
Yeah, and on this part of the circuit, if you just look over to the right as we're looking at the screen now, just over the hills and the trees over there is where the current GP circuit is, the one that we're going to be racing at this year at the in the Formula 1 Championship, because it's recently announced. So
rightly so.
Yeah, of course, fantastic circuit. Even though obviously it's not anywhere near like this track we're looking at now, the Nordschleife, it's still a great little circuit, the GP one.
Oh, really good fun. We had a good crack there in the GT5 Championship in the snow and the dark.
Absolutely, yeah. In October, you never know, it might be the same.
You never know. Fingers crossed.
D-Man, look, he's 16 seconds behind now, the leaders. I don't know if he's made an error, but he's lost a hell of a lot of time. He did a 7:01. Alex, look, 6:52 on the last lap, absolutely flying. And he's pulled out a few more seconds on Chris, so Chris is struggling at this stage of the race to stay with Alex. And like you said earlier, Stuart, Alex will be looking to make it the triple, won't he, and win all of the races. Chris showed very promising pace indeed at, Le Mans. But then he got himself taken out at the start with Alex CDL, and then also he had to flip over his teammate, Team Island teammate D-Man 221 we're looking at now, because he ended up on his roof, didn't he? Even though the Porsche hasn't got a roof. Well, he was on his head, let's say then. And he had to flip him back over, so that lost him time too at Le Mans. And then he ended up with a great battle with Stuart Davis at the end, for trying to get podium. So if it wasn't for all of that, he could have won Le Mans actually, Chris could have, so he'll be wanting to make amends today.
Oh, definitely. He's got the pace. He doesn't make mistakes. And here we are. It's a good comparison now as the Ford goes through. Look at that.
See that
nose dips down. I mean, compared to the Porsche there, that is just mental, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy. Unbelievable. It's like watching an elephant on a seesaw.
An elephant on a seesaw. Yeah, I can see that, yeah.
Yeah, that was an analogy straight out of Stuart Davis's book. And
yeah, that was... look at that.
On the grass.
Has he got his braking right this time round? Yeah, he's avoided the rally cross.
That corner is downhill, and it's got a gravel trap on the outside, and we've seen many drivers come a cropper there throughout practice. And of course Welsh Taff as well earlier in this race. He's still finding the limit of where the braking points was down into that corner. But if you just take a little bit more speed through the corner before it, one lap, say if you're just experimenting, you can take a little bit more speed, you find time there, it's very easy then to just ruin the next one because you're going downhill and carrying too much speed for the braking point that you're used to. So it's a very tricky sequence.
Yeah, you get all overexcited thinking, oh, that was really good. You forget to alter your braking point and poof, you're at the beach.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And not in a good way.
No, and not in a good way now for Scuderia Sam. He's got Stuart Davis half a second behind.
Oh, yeah.
Well, according to the timer screen, he doesn't look like it there, does it? No, there we are.
No, it doesn't. But like you said before, on this circuit, you think, 3 seconds on a normal circuit, it's not that close a battle really, but 3 seconds at this circuit, it's game on.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we're there saying D-Man 221 is 9 seconds a lap slower than Alex CDL. That's 9 seconds around 73 corners. When you look at it like that, you kind of go, well, just over a tenth a corner.
Yeah, exactly, actually.
And in these cars, that's nothing.
Yeah.
There we go, Scuderia Sam. He looks like he nailed bravery corners. They come up to the last hard braking before the carousel.
See that Ford sliding around then?
Yeah, Stuart Davis on a mission. I think he knows this could be... He can taste blood now. I'd read of that Ferrari, and he knows this could be his only chance because, as you said, Scuderi-Sam doesn't make mistakes, and we know Stuart Davis does make mistakes. So when he's as close as this, he knows he's really got to get on it. And off they go now. They go up the hill now through the. I'm not sure if it's. I'm going to say how the English would want to say it based on the spelling. The Whipperman section.
The what?
I'm assuming it'd be Vipperman.
Vickerman. Oh,
Vipper.
look at that! Stuart Davis all on the curb there. He's really trying hard, isn't he? And Scuderi-Sam on the curb on the inside too, kicking up some dust. And this is a proper game-on battle we got here developing between the old rivals, the Ford and the Ferrari. These two cars were built to compete directly against each other at Le Mans and Daytona in the late 60s. And they are the arch nemesis of each other as well. And these two drivers, of course, they've raced each other many times in real life on the track, on the karting scene, and teammates as well. So they're good friends and good rivals, and they'll be wanting to get the upper hand over the other, won't they, in this one? And they won't want to make too many mistakes as Stuart Davis goes for another spot of Rallycross.
Yeah, he's this is quite a tricky section now for the Ford and the Ferrari. You'd be surprised how much air they get coming through here down that bump. You can hear the down change and the engine revving like crazy coming through there.
Yeah, it's really tricky this bit because you unsighted some of the corners and they're extremely quick. You've got camber changes like that one, look, and downhill, blind crests. It's so tricky to pick out your turn-in points, and in a car where you just got one line through the corners as well. You can't take liberties with these cars, the Ford and Ferrari. You have to stick to that one line, otherwise you're off.
Yeah, and amazingly in these cars, somehow that is actually an entire. Well, I don't know about the Ferrari so much, but my experience of the Ford is definitely a flat-out drive-through there. They come round to the Dottingham again. They are now almost a minute off the lead after 3 laps.
I'd say the Ferrari is more like kind of just tickling the throttle, waiting to see if it feels like it's going to kill you or not. And then if you think it's going to be okay, you can get on it.
Yeah, the Ford is definitely more of a put your foot to the floor, hang on for your life, scream as loud as you can, and just hope.
Yeah. They're great cars, though.
Well, that could just be driving style preferences, I don't know.
Yeah, very possibly. It depends as well, obviously, how you take the last corner before that, depending on how much speed you've got coming out of it and so forth. I mean, all these corners here, even though this is the only really straight bit of the circuit, isn't it? All the other flat-out bits are still, straights, they're still curvy. So just constant corners at the circuit. And it's so mentally tiring driving around this track.
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine? I mean, we say these two drivers now, they're on the pad. You've got Sam Fancy Fingers there and Stuart Davis. They got very tired thumbs after this, but Alex, Chris, D-Man, Big Bad Wolf, they're all on sim rig. I mean, this must be absolutely mental. They've got force feedback to deal with. They have a pretty stiff foot, I would say, as well. It's a definite stiff right ankle once this is all done and dusted, as Stuart Davis goes through the hats and back once again. And look at that, Alex CDI is already up at Arenberg, the end of the first sector, just to give you an idea of how far ahead that Porsche is. Yeah,
and he's pulling away too from the other Porsche of Chris, so at the moment I think Alex will be feeling pretty confident, pretty relaxed.
Yeah, he's just got to keep it off the curbs, keep it nice and steady, he doesn't have to push too hard. And it should be the Triple Crown in the bag. I mean, he deserves it. He was pretty good during the GT5 Championship, made a lot of errors, but he's got the speed to win every race he enters, really.
He is extremely fast. I mean, he's had a lot of pole positions as well. He is prone to the odd error, of course, and that sometimes opens up or gives the advantage to his rivals, but I think the whole field, to be honest, put them in the same cars, like we saw in the GT5 Championship, is very close, isn't it? At most of the circuits.
Yes, yeah, I mean, it's the only car really that could make it possibly a little bit more even would be the Ginetta Junior. But it's I think a lot of the drivers, they do struggle sort of going from front wheel drive to rear wheel drive, as we might actually see shortly in the PS4 group. I know some of the drivers, they've just gone from the Touring Car Championship jumping into Group A, suddenly dealing with rear wheel drive cars on Silverstone. And a slightly different format that'll be. It'll be 2 sprint races in one night rather than sort of one long endurance as normal. But yeah, we know Del Boy, for instance, he was spinning his rear wheels up, getting in the solo session. I think he did sort of rage quit himself and sort of said, I can't be doing this. But it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Obviously, the Group A race in the Xbox group yielded very similar results to what we'd normally see. So yeah, by the time everyone's done their practice, that should become quite a good race as Chris Doherty comes down into, is it Bergwick here, I think? This is one of the most daunting corners on the circuit. Just downhill, barriers right in front of you, 150 miles an hour, and that is a very long right-hander. It just never seems to end.
Yeah, it's crazy. It looks like a sort of corner that's just going to swallow you up and then it just spits you out into a forest the other side.
Yeah, he's halved the gap to Alex on this lap so far.
He has, hasn't he? Look, 2 seconds now. He was 5 seconds behind, 2 seconds now. So, yeah, he's not actually going to let Alex get away. Alex would be quite surprised looking at that time screen. Don't know if he made a mistake somewhere that we didn't see, but he'll be seeing the Porsche in his wing mirrors before long. He'll be thinking, hang on, I'm in a Porsche. Is that a reflection or is that another Porsche?
Yeah. If it is another Porsche, which one is it?
Yeah.
They all look the same. They all look weird. They all sound horrible. I'm going to get that out now.
They do. I mean, we've said it in all of them, but it's true. They do. And you'll be seeing that the green lips of that Porsche and thinking, that's an Irish green, that is. That's Chris Doherty.
He goes bumping through the carousel there, up the hill.
It's actually quite hard to stay in the confines of that, like, in a sort of camber bit of the carousel, isn't it?
Yeah, and if you don't carry enough speed and then you press the throttle a little bit too hard to try and get some power back in to send some more power to the rear wheels, you just go round and hit that curb, and then you have a really low speed, facing the wrong way, not quite a spin, not quite a crash, really embarrassing sort of moment.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we've all been there.
I mean, I wouldn't know about that.
No,
never done that.
Yeah, of course not. Too good for that.
Oh, I'll tell you something else is interesting. The Battle of the Fords is Welsh Taff and Unfixed Throne.
Yeah, we might see it in a second. I think Welsh Taff is under threat, look, from Unfixed Throne. Don't know if he's probably made a mistake somewhere.
10th, innit?
Yeah,
quite possibly.
Just a few tenths, like you say, Stuart. So, Unfixed Throne is ahead of Welsh Taff, look. So, yeah, it'll be extremely interesting to see if he can get back past it all, because he was going very well, was Welsh Taff, but Unfixed Throne did a much quicker lap, look, the last time round. So, yeah, it'll be interesting, this will.
Yeah, I mean, Unfixed Throne's done him, look.
Yeah, Unfixed Throne is ahead.
Haven't seen it on camera, but he's done him.
Incredible.
So that's what I'll tell you. I'm really pleased with this series. There's a few concerns earlier on that, such long circuits, such difficult cars to drive that maybe won't see much wheel-to-wheel racing. But Spa, there wasn't a huge amount of wheel-to-wheel, but the race was decided by under 3 seconds. Stuart Davis coming through the field from last. We had plenty of overtakes. Scuderia Sam D-Man decided their final podium position on the final lap. Le Mans was decided. I mean, there was a race-long fight for the first, there was a race-long fight for third. It's actually, here we got the front two battling away. We've got Scuderia Sam and Stuart Davis, although Sam is getting away now. And then Unfixed Throne and Welsh Taff, they're having a fight as well. So, considering the difference in the cars, the difference in the length of the circuits, I think it's been a pretty good series, to be honest.
It's been fantastic, and it's always good fun as well when you have cars with different strengths and weaknesses, and you go to different circuits and you can see then which car's got the slight upper hand, or like where on the circuit it's got the upper hand. For example, at Spa-Francorchamps, that was a good case of it, because you had the massive long straights with the Ford and the Ferrari, especially the Ford, would just rip into the Porsche and pull out so much time. But then a couple of corners then towards the end of the lap, and then where was it? It was just before the Master Straight, wasn't it? The downhill couple of corners. I can't remember what they're called, Stuart, but the Porsche...
Bernaville-Malmedy.
That's it, yeah. The Porsche was flat through there. It pulled out so much time, it just clawed it all back straight away. So you ended up with similar lap times, but cars with completely different cars with different strengths in different parts of the circuit. That always makes for fantastic racing.
Oh yeah, there's lots and lots of overtaking there. It was really, really good fun to watch.
And this is a guy who had a bad Ferrari strategy that day, wasn't he? He probably could have won that race with Stuart Davis out of the picture after a poor qualifying. He had to come back through after a crash as well, and then Scuderia Sam was closing in on Alex, and then he had that unexpected pit stop for fuel, which put him back down to 4th place, and he had to catch D-Man all again then.
Yes, I'll be having words with Matteo Benocchi, or whatever his name is, after that one.
Yeah, it's a great shot of the Ferrari. Very fast cameraman, being able to keep up with that.
And what's the Ferrari doing there? 175, something like that?
Yeah, about 175, 180. It tops out at around 190. But of course you're going slightly uphill there as well, and it's a little bit underpowered compared to the Ford, so it's not quite managing to top out on that straight, even though it's 2 kilometres long, because of the uphill section. Misses the apex slightly coming onto the straight there, but let's see what lap time's going to do. So that's a 7 minute 11.9. That's the quickest time, I think, that the Ferrari's done throughout practice all this race, so very handy time there. Stuart Davis is 7.14, so he's slipping back a little bit, look. So he's, how far is he back now? 7 seconds away. And no, this is the battle, Welsh Taff and Unfixed. So Welsh Taff's back ahead of Unfixed Drone. And we ride on board now with Unfixed Drone on the yellow bonnet. And you can see Welsh Taff, they're just getting out of shape slightly. And he's really fighting that forward. And battle here, fire and ice between these two.
Yeah, that's it. They're coming through the airsback section now, and lots of camber changes, lots of blind corners now. Oh, they both made a mistake.
I think that's what often happens following a car ahead. Once they go off slightly, you can make the same mistake, can't you?
Yeah, did Unfixed Drone actually make a mistake?
I think he did. I think that's the first time ever.
Yes, it's been a while, isn't it?
I think the last time was when he spun in the GT5 in the snow at Nürburgring.
And that was, yeah, well, GT5 in the snow, I think he could be forgiven that one.
Yeah, and then Nürburgring in the GT40, I think he could be forgiven too. Oh, he's passed.
Yeah, I'd say.
Welsh Taff is squirming like a squirrel. He's squirming anyway, and Unfixed.
Yeah, get down to the Tiergarten and get himself an Irish squirmish with his Doherty and D-Man.
Absolutely. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, but no, he definitely got a wobble on there, to be fair, to Welsh Taff.
Yeah, he did.
Like you said, fire and ice here. You've got, another mistake. That is an example there. If you get the angles all wrong, in the fourth, that is a jump. That hill there, that is, you get that wrong, you are absolutely going to, do what Unfixed Drone just did.
Yeah, World Rallycross on the GT40 with getting some air and everything. And yeah, that's exactly what he did there, Stuart, as you said. And now Welsh Taff is going to be thinking, is there Unfixed in that car or not? I've seen him make 2 errors in the space of a minute. But he's going to be waiting for another one, but I don't think he's going to get it. I think it's very rare to see those sort of errors from Unfixed Drone because he's an extremely smooth driver. But it just shows you how hard these cars are to drive around this circuit. And it's obviously very hard to remember all the corners as well and all the braking points. It's a real challenge for the drivers. And Welsh Taff's, he was thinking of lining them up coming onto the straight to get in the slipstream, but he's made a terrible mistake. That's the one place where you really don't want to make a mistake at this circuit, is coming onto the straight there. You lose so much time down it.
Oh yeah, that's 2 kilometres now of... You've got plenty of time to get your hands off the wheel and put your head in your hand and bash the wheel and... I don't know, but Welsh Taff would be thinking now, oh, crap.
Yeah.
Got to go get him again, but no, I'm sure he will. He's quicker, like you said, fire and ice these guys, Unfixed Drone, he'll tortoise in the hair kind of thing, he'll take his time, he'll just do his laps and finish where he finishes. Welsh Taff will be absolutely hanging the back end of that Ford out trying to catch him, and we'll see what happens. I'm sure he'll catch him at some point and resume their battle. And Alex is off.
From the lead, he spun out under pressure from Chris Doherty. And Alex, he does facing the wrong way. Now he's getting back going again. He's spun his Porsche right round the right way now. And spit a flame from the exhaust in fury from losing the lead. And Chris Doherty now leads by 5 seconds, so a complete switch around.
Yeah, I mean, it's easily done there. You know, the Quiddleback hill, you go up, you go over the crest. The Porsche doesn't really get airborne, but... You know, you get the angles all slightly wrong, and then that Porsche, we know it's vulnerable going over the curbs. He's obviously clipped the inside curb there, spat himself out, and I mean, that's the one thing Alex didn't need to do. He didn't need to take risks pushing through the tricky sections of the circuit where accidents can happen, and that's it. He's 4.7 seconds behind now.
In fairness to Alex, he probably knows he's got the championship wrapped up, and I think he might have taken his eye off the ball slightly with Chris being so far behind. And we've seen some mistakes from Alex before, you know, he can make them, but Chris will be absolutely ecstatic about that, wouldn't he? He wouldn't have been expecting that so early in the race, as Unfixed Drone bashes a few of the cones out of the way. I say so early in the race, we're actually more than halfway through now, but still. And Unfixed Drone, he didn't like those cones much, did he?
No, that's how you take the fluke plats in the GT40, absolutely on the ragged edge, and this again is a little jump. The car gets very unstable there. How are they going to take it? Nice early braking from Unfixed Drone, they're very balanced. Yeah. That's the handy thing, if you do follow another car through there that you know
is in the beach.
Well, I was about to say, you know is sensible and got their braking points etc. all sorted, you can just to a certain degree copy what they do, but maybe Welsh Taff needs to go back to school and learn how to copy from the smarter kids on that one, I don't know.
Possibly, yeah. Welsh Taff, he didn't get that one quite right, but let's not forget he has had limited practice at this circuit, and he's probably thinking to himself that he would have got past on the fixed road a little bit quicker after he was so far ahead of him at one stage, and now he's going to take the shortcut as well. It looks like Welsh Taff's a little bit ragged here.
Yeah, and of course worth mentioning Welsh Taff, he's obviously the head of AB Electrical, West Wales Karting's latest track sponsor for basically he's providing sort of security systems and whatnot, so yeah, nice to have AB Electrical on board. He's a winner of multiple weekly 100s as well.
You've got to be nice to him.
Yes, yeah, he doesn't. Oh, great move there, he's down the inside, rubbing wheels.
Shoves out, unfixed room wide.
Got it done.
Yes, he didn't have to be nice to unfixed, did he?
No, that was perfect move there, brilliantly executed, nicely done.
Yeah, fantastic. That is a textbook manoeuvre there from Welsh Taff on how to get past in that corner. Unfixed didn't
Must
really...
have dug his textbooks out of his old school file, I don't know.
Oh dear.
Right, I'm going to leave him alone now. That was really
You're
good.
absolutely schooling these puns.
Oh dear.
And Unfixed Throne is saying oh dear too, because he's now lost that lead. He's in 8th place, and he's going to have his work cut out now to stay with Welsh Taff. But Welsh Taff has looked ragged, so you never know. He could get past a little bit at some point, couldn't he? But we'll see how this battle shapes up, whether Welsh Taff will clear off now down the road or whether he'll make another mistake. Who knows what's going to happen here.
No, that's the great thing about Welsh Taff. You never quite know what he's going to do. Obviously, fighting a bit further near the front in the PS4 Touring Car Championships, but that is basically what he does. You know, it's slightly more time to practice on those cars, so you'd expect him to be a bit higher up. But yeah, he's always there for a lunge or crazy overtake or a bit of rallycross. He's always a good crack to watch on the screen.
Yeah, he's certainly a fan favourite. And what about on the karting circuit? Is he a fan favourite on the karting circuit too?
Well, I've never met anyone who had, obviously his main event he likes to race is the weekly 100. It's the 100 lap endurance race we run 100 laps straight. There's a cut through shortcut joker lap used at some point during the race. Every driver must use it, and grid position is chosen every week at random. Between 8 and 10 drivers tend to take part, and I don't think I've known him choose a grid position higher than 7th place yet. And he's still taken multiple wins, so that should give you an idea of the kind of driver Mr. Beckett is.
Yeah, he likes coming through the field.
And I think he actually entered his first PKC race this year, the first one he's ever done, and I think he walked it. So I think he's 1 for 1 in the PKC as well. Ferrari gets a good jump there.
Oh yeah, look at that. He's absolutely on the ragged edge, isn't he? Scuderia Sam there. You can see that Ferrari.
He's done another 7-11 on the last lap.
I know, really consistent. 1/10, didn't it, actually, in the last 2 laps around the Nürburgring. That's...
He's obviously managed to synchronise all of his settings to the Nordschleife now, and because we know he's not quite human, you know, he does sort of plug and play, does Sam. And once he's got all the settings set up, that's it then. Same lap, every lap. Look at the speed he's carrying through Arenberg there, that is fantastic.
Yeah, he's on an absolute mission this lap. He's doesn't really know he can't catch the drivers in front. I think it's just a matter of now getting a nice gap over Stuart Davis, who had a bit of a scruffy one last time around, 7:17 compared to a 7:14 the lap before. Take a little bit less speed through that corner too, so I don't know if his tyres are going off slightly, but the Ferrari looks absolutely electric through the bumps here. It looks completely at home and really in the zone, and once you get into a rhythm at this circuit, you can really find a lot of time. So when you lose that rhythm is when the trouble starts to happen. Like that.
Yeah, that's it, and there it goes. Oh, in the wall.
Yeah, the tyres are going off, aren't they, I think, and he's struggling now to keep hold of that Ferrari.
Ford.
I mean, sorry, keep hold of the Ferrari up ahead.
Oh, Ferrari. Yeah, he's struggling to hold on to his Ford as well.
Yeah,
but yeah, after about
true.
5-6 laps, the front tire, they just don't quite have the bite anymore. I mean, as you said, that Ford is very, very heavy. I mean, the front wheels are constantly scrubbing on this circuit, so you'd be surprised if, I don't know, Ferrari, if it's okay on tyres. I mean, lap time wise, it certainly looks like it's okay. The Porsche we're expecting to be sticking all the way to the end. And look at that, Alex, he's only gained half a second since his incident, it was only a lap and a half ago, but it feels like a lifetime around the circuit.
Yeah.
And I mean, amazingly, what are we now? We're nearly 40 minutes into this race, and we're on lap 6. I mean, it's just insane.
It is. It's a crazy circuit. And going back to the tyre issue, the Ford is the heaviest, and it's got the most power. So I guess if any car's going to struggle with tyres, it would be the Ford, wouldn't it? I guess when you look at it that way. The Ferrari is kind of in between them both, slightly tending more towards the Ford in terms of power and weight. And then the Porsche is sort of on its own, like less power, a lot less power actually, but a lot lighter as well. So yeah, we're not expecting any trouble from tyres from their point of view. Neither in the Ferrari really, so yeah, just the Fords might struggle a little bit, and with the sort of pace that Stewart's been driving at as well, compared to the other Fords in this race, he's probably going to suffer the most. So as you can see, he's made a few mistakes now as well. So yeah, that battle is slipping away slightly for Stuart Davis in his battle with the Ferrari. And now this battle here is shaping up nicely still. Unfixed Throne is not letting Ross Taff get away too much. He's still going to have that yellow machine in his wing mirrors pestering him, and he's going to be thinking, how am I not further ahead yet? Unfixed Throne is certainly quick enough to keep with him.
Yeah, that's it. Unfixed Banana, Unfixed Throne is definitely going to be keeping him worried anyway. Well, keeping him honest. I don't know if Ross Taff's going to worry too much. It's a virtual race on ProjectCars2, but he'll definitely be looking in his mirrors thinking, oh man, I just need to get on down the road now.
Well, the way that Ford handles and the way it bounces across those the waves and crests of the circuit, it could be a banana boat.
Could be. Like, I just can't believe this Porsche. Look at it, it's just on rails.
Interestingly, on this circuit, you'd think, well, this straight here is going to be a massive disadvantage for the Porsche, and it could lose all the time it's made up the rest of the track. But what helps it slightly, even though of course you've got all the other corners to deal with, but coming onto that straight, you've got a very fast right-hand corner that goes on for a bit, sort of double apex, and the Porsche can take that flat. The Ford and Ferrari can't. It has to back off, and that just delays the amount of time they can get on the throttle, and the advantage is halved basically going down that straight. If it was a tighter corner where it was like brake, slam on the throttle, straighten the car up and nail it down the straight, I think you'd probably see the Ford and Ferrari relative to the Porsche have more of an advantage down there, but actually it doesn't really have an advantage until more than halfway along.
Yeah, only gains a couple of seconds coming down there, less so obviously for the Ferrari, so yeah, this Porsche, it was built for this kind of circuit, really. You know, it's I'm not sure, is this the same model that was built for Can-Am?
It is, yeah, I think so. I believe so anyway.
Yeah, I did a bit of research last night, and it was effectively the car that killed Can-Am.
Yeah, in the early 70s. 71, was it? 72? Something like that?
Yeah, 72, I think. See, Dr. Helmut Marko entered one in the Le Mans 24-hour, took victory there before his unfortunate accident. Obviously means he couldn't race anymore. But that is Scuderia Sam now. He's about to come onto Dottinger Her once again. And he's absolutely flying on this lap, isn't he? I mean, if you look at the gap he's got back to Stuart Davis, it's 22 seconds now. I mean, obviously he's struggling with his tyres a little bit. Sam is, look at that. Sideways, coming onto the straight, absolutely gunning it.
Yeah, this is one hell of a lap here, and that Ferrari is... it must be crazy in the cockpit, and imagine in real life if you were in this thing going around this track. I mean, I don't think... I don't know, you have to be pretty brave, let's say.
I wouldn't.
No. I would, but I probably wouldn't drive it this quickly in real life.
No, this whole series,
even on the straight,
circuits, the cars. Yeah, I mean, was it Spa? So many straights, and again, reading up at the Spa 24-hour just the other day, and they said the biggest issue there was so many fast corners that were not quite flat out, but were, and you're just always hanging on to it. And look at that. That is. How do you keep that out of the wall there? I don't know. That was brilliant.
It's like downshifting, one hand on the steering wheel, sideways, 170 mile an hour, curbs, a wall very close. That looks 708. That's much faster than anything he's done in practice. So that was probably a one-off lap. And talk about the perfect lap, that might have been somewhere near it.
Quite possibly, and here's the Ford coming through that same section. A little bit more composed. I suppose if he is struggling with tyre wear, he's got to be a little bit more careful with understeer, but
yeah.
That didn't look too bad coming through there, did it?
No, that's right. Let's see what the lap time is. 7:21. Well, he is getting slower. But he did have a few errors as well, didn't he? So a few offs. But you can see that Ford, it is sliding more than it was earlier in this race, I think, now. So it's going to be a handful.
Yeah, I mean, it would show you there. Well, we've cut away now. Hats and back is a section where it definitely shows it. But look at this now. We got. Is this going to be? This could be the last lap, you know.
I think it might be. Well, possibly. I don't know, we'll have to see. But Chris Doherty is in the lead, but he's only in the lead by 1 second now from Alex. So Alex was 5 seconds behind after his mistake, and he's caught back up. It's really cat and mouse between these two, and they're absolutely the fastest Porsche drivers around this circuit. And from both of their points of view, they really want to win this. Chris hasn't won one yet, this Triple Crown, and he hasn't won a race since, was it the Clios or the touring cars we were racing back at Snetterton?
Yeah,
or something?
Snetterton Clios,
Yeah, it's a long time that he hasn't won a race, and Chris will be really wanting to win this one. And likewise, Alex will want to be making it 3 from 3 in the Triple Crown and showing that he's been the dominant driver, but Chris will want to have a say in that, won't he?
Oh, definitely. Unfortunately for Chris, he's got a fantastic run out of Bergwick there. And as long as he keeps his foot planted up straight, Alex is actually gaining. I think Alex is got an even better exit there, and he's definitely keeping him honest as they come up to the Klosterfall now, or Bravery Corner, which I'm assuming is just flat out in the Porsche again, and that'll take them into the big stop before the carousel. 7 tenths in it, 6 tenths. Alex is on a mission, isn't he? And there's nothing to lose behind. 24-second gap. They can get into a tangle, and D-Man's not really close enough to take anything. Alex kicking up a bit of dust. Here we are, is the big stop.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chris Doherty is seeing that Porsche close in on his wing mirror. Of course, just the one wing mirror the Porsche has, because it's a bit of a weird car. Into the carousel they go flying now. And I think, was it Chris going slightly wide up there? No, he's alright. He's well in the crevice of the carousel. And slingshots him out, and so does Alex. But look, he's only 6 tenths behind now, and he's really catching him. And will he be able to get a slipstream onto that long straight? That is the question here. But he's closing up really close now. 3 tenths behind now. This is a real battle for the lead we've got on our hands here between the two extremely competitive drivers. Chris Doherty was racing in real life recently too, of course, over in Ireland. And but I don't think it was a Porsche he was racing there, was it? It was, don't know what it was actually, I can't remember now.
Fiesta,
I
think.
think.
It's almost, they look like they're in fast forward coming through there. That was... it's not very often as well. You see the back end kicking out slightly.
Both in the barrier.
Oh, no, and they go.
I don't think they made contact.
Simultaneous slide.
Yeah.
I don't think they did actually. I think that was... I think that was just synchronised spinning there. And Chris, fortunately, hit the barriers and carried on facing the right way, so he's come off best in that little exchange.
Yeah, they both just got a little bit wide, didn't they, on that curb, and it shows you how hard they're pushing. But I love how they just carried on as if nothing happened. No one saw that. They won't spot that in the race direct.
And beauty of being able to turn damage off. Here they go down now. The little jump. It's like a Hot Wheels car going down there, wasn't it?
It was incredible.
Yeah. I wonder why they got that arrow on the livery on the side there. Is that just to make sure the driver's looking the right way? I don't know.
I think it's when they spin so they know which way around the track goes.
Anyway, here they come through last couple of corners now before the main straight through the which one's this now? The Schwalbenschwanz, something like that. I don't know. My wife will grill me for that pronunciation.
If you're listening to this, by the way, it's no wonder I haven't tried pronouncing any of these names, because Stuart Davis is much better pronouncing German names than I am. He's got a much better chance.
Yeah, German wife, that's what that one will be. But as I said, she'd grill me a treat for the pronunciation, I'm sure, as they come on to the dotting of her once again.
I think this might be the last lap, you know?
Yeah, I think it will be.
And it's going to be extremely close, because they come onto that straight, and they're under half a second. Alex is behind. But I think the Porsche now is just about maxing out, isn't it? So I don't know if he's going to close in any more along this straight now. He's hitting the rev limiter.
But look at this, Chris is looking ahead, and that is unfixed thrown in the distance. Chris is going to be thinking, oh, please see us coming, or hurry up, get out the way.
Yeah, and he's swerving around trying to break that slipstream, and Alex is ever closer. 2 tenths in it, look, in the last few corners, and there's really quick corners coming up. This is incredible racing between these two very competitive drivers. Is Alex going to have a look into this corner? It's one of his last chances if he's going to do. Chris runs a little bit wide, but he stays on the inside line now for the last corner, and Alex is going to try and do the cut back, but he hasn't got quite the drive out of the corner. As they head to the line now, it's going to be a photo finish, and Chris Doherty just takes the win by, look at that, 0.06 seconds I think it was as they went across the line. Something crazy.
Absolutely unbelievable race.
That was mental.
That was just brilliant.
Yeah, fantastic driving by the both of them. And our winner today then, Chris Doherty, he breaks the dominance of the Triple Crown Series that Alex CDL had, and he takes the win. But of course it is still a Porsche whitewash as we were expecting here at Nürburgring, but they have won all the races as well. D-Man there, Team Ireland teammate, he comes through in the number 7 car in 3rd place to get his first podium of the Triple Crown Series. Oh no, has he? Oh no, it is his first podium actually, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Seems strange saying that because he's such a quick driver, but that is indeed his first podium. And Big Bad Wolf there coming through the last few corners to take 4th ahead of, well, it was a Porsche 1, 2, 3, 4, wasn't it? All the Porsches finished first. And then the Ferrari was the quickest non-Porsche car. Some scintillating laps there gave him the position ahead of Stuart Davis in the leading Ford GT40. And then it was Welsh Taff rounding out ahead of Unfixed Drone. And there's the final podium confirmation and the team's championship. And it's been a fantastic series. It's really enjoyable.
Yeah, really good fun there. And like I said, team championship, good bit of fun there. Team Ireland sticking together once again. And we were expecting, here we are, driver standings. We were expecting a Porsche whitewash at the top, but I'm sure Scuderia Sam and Stuart Davis will be quite pleased with that.
And with that win, Chris Doherty just next second in the championship ahead of Scuderia Sam and Stuart Davis. So in the end it was Scuderia Sam taking 3rd. So there's not a bad effort from the both of them though, Scuderia Sam and Stuart Davis, to finish ahead of a couple of Porsches. And look at that shot, fantastic.
Yeah, really good series, really enjoyed it, and we're looking forward now to the Ford Escorts at the Knockout Challenge.
Yeah, something a little bit different for the drivers to get their heads around, and we look forward to seeing you there next time.